Hi everybody, it's the Soap Man and it's time to make some soap. So if you've watched me before, you know this angle. You're looking straight down into my crock pot. It's time to make some hot process. So what I'm doing today, if you watched me before, you know my favorite way to do hot process is to take embeds that are left from old soaps. I shouldn't say old soaps that I've poured over when I had leftover batter and just poured them over into individual molds, and I make a hot process base. I chop these up and suspend these in it. So I'm going to be coloring the base with a single color, and it is Nurture Soap's Jam Session. I haven't used it before. My friend Lisa gave it to me. I've been curious about it. I haven't used it in cold process. I'm going to see how it holds up in hot process. I'm going to be scenting the base with Nature's Garden Glacier Falls. I've used this in a couple of cold process batches, and honest to goodness, I can't smell it, but I'm really beginning to think maybe it's me, maybe it's my nose, because I see wonderful reviews from users who use this and just say how good it smells and how long it lasts. So I'm beginning to think it's me and not the fragrance. So I'm going to try in hot process. So let's go ahead and get started. So I'm going to put 4 level teaspoons of the color right into my oils. I cook it right in with the oils when I'm doing a single color hot process, and every time I've done this, the color always holds up through the cook. And if you think about it, you put it in cold process, a lot of people, like me, let it go through a hot gel and it holds up, and it's a hot gel for hours and hours and holds up. So why wouldn't it hold up through cooking and hot process? So let's mix the color with the oils. This is just oils, no lye yet. So I'm just going to kind of mix this in. Ooh, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Shimmery silver. Oh, it's beautiful. The camera is probably not doing it justice because I have an old inexpensive camera, but man, this is beautiful. Now what it will look like when I put the lye with and cook it, we'll find out, but this is gorgeous. Another thing with hot process, I don't worry about temperatures. I just took this crock out of the microwave about 10 minutes ago. I just mixed my lye up about 10 minutes ago. Everything's very hot. I don't worry about it with hot process. It just does not seem to matter. So I'm going to pour my very hot lye water into my hot oils and not worry about the temperatures. I'm not even going to measure it. I've done it for years and it just doesn't seem to matter. To get my hot process to a very thick trace. Very, very thick trace. And then let it start to cook. So this may take a little while. Bear with me. Here we go. Of course it loses that silver shimmery, but it's still a pretty purple. Now we're at a thick trace, it leaves small drag marks on the top, but I like it a thick trace for hot process. kind of like gravy now. Probably hit it one more time, that'll be good. Yeah, that's good enough. So what I'll go ahead and do now is put the lid on it, and it will actually get super hard very fast, but then it'll start to cook. But I'll bring you through the process. If you haven't watched me before, I'll bring you through the process of how I do it. But that's all the stick blending, so I'll see you in just a few minutes. Alright, real quick, I'm not going to touch it yet, but look what's happening here. You see that? It's starting to cook. And it's been maybe 5 minutes. And look at the embeds that I cut up that are going to go into that. All those colorful soaps left over. All the scents and fragrances. Oh, that smells so good. They're going to eventually end up in there. So I'll see you in a little while when it's time to stir it. Alright, so we're at the applesauce stage. My camera cut off. Okay. Took my glasses off while I was away from it. I'm putting my glasses back on. This is still soap. It still has lye in it. But we're at the applesauce stage. Even though it's purple, it has the consistency of applesauce. So we got some nice purple applesauce here. And I'm going to just kind of stir it down, calm it down a little bit. It's a little less dangerous because some of the lye has cooked into the soap, or become soap, I should say. It's less likely to climb, but it still will climb. Don't leave it alone. Just going to stir it down a little bit, mix everything in. Smack the spatula off. Another reason to wear my goggles. Put the lid back on it. I'm going to turn you off and then take my goggles off. See you in a minute. Okay, so we've gone from the applesauce stage to what's called the mashed potato stage. Looks a lot like mashed potatoes if you used purple potatoes. And guess what? There are purple potatoes out there, so this could be. But this is the consistency of hot mashed potatoes. No longer liquidy like applesauce, and it's starting to get shiny, which means it's starting to turn to soap. I'm going to let it cook a little longer just to be absolutely certain, but it's really getting shiny and glossy, which tells me it's turning to soap. But it's still wanting to climb a little bit. When it's wanting to climb like that, it's still wanting to cook. So smacking it like that, yes, I have my glasses because that could hit me in the eye. Keep your glasses on when you got this top off your crock pot. But here we go. I'll see you in a minute. It'll probably be done. I'll see you in a bit. Okay, I've gone ahead and pulled the plug to turn the crock pot off. 15 minutes on high after this got started cooking. This is soap. I'm not sure if the camera's picking this up, but it's shiny and glossy, which means it's at a really nice gel stage. This is soap. And it stopped climbing. So, what I'm going to do is get the crock out of the hot base so it can cool down just a little bit. I got to be careful letting it cool down too much, but it needs to cool down some before I go any farther. So we're in a nice shiny glossy shiny glossy mashed potatoes. I'm going to get this really hot base out of the way and just set it over to the side here. And get you into the picture. There we go. Now, this is 100% optional. You don't have to do this, but if you have sodium lactate, it does help keep it fluid a little bit longer. And I'm just going to kind of, probably I'd say about 2 tablespoons. And truthfully is, I didn't measure. Just kind of poured it. I'm going to stir that in, and that helps keep it a little bit more fluid while it starts to cool. Maybe just a tad, maybe 3 tablespoons. And I'm going to start stirring that in, and that's going to help keep it fluid, and it's going to let it cool down some, because if I put my fragrance in, I am afraid that it's just too hot. I know flash point refers to the point at which it will catch on fire when exposed to flame, but I'm still afraid it's just too hot. And even so, this Nature's Garden fragrance that I'm using has a very high flash point, but just putting that in there, it's just made it so much more fluid and workable. So I'm going to stir this for just a little while and cool it down just for a few minutes, and we'll put our fragrance in, and we'll put our embeds in, and we'll mold it. Okay, so this has been sitting out of the crock cooling for about 10 minutes, and look how fluid that still is, and that's because of the sodium lactate. Sodium lactate is absolutely not mandatory, but it helps so much. Look at that. So it's time to fragrance it. I'm going to just put my scent oil in. Now, truthfully is, I could just dump, this is measured out, this is the right amount. I could just dump this in if I wanted to. To me, it just seems easier and better if I put it in small amounts and stir it in. I don't know, just me. Maybe it's me, I don't know. But I don't like to dump it all in to hot process all at once. I like to dump it in small amounts and stir it in. And of course this liquid will also cool it down more, and then I'll put the embeds in, which will really cool it down. And even with sodium lactate, I'll have to get it into the mold quickly. Now this smells fantastic because the soap is still warm. It smells just fantastic this way. I'm just hoping I smell it in this. For some reason, I just don't notice it in cold process, and maybe it's just me. So I'm going to ask a few people, my wife and my daughter, if they smell it and what they think it smells like. So we'll see. Because doing this, it smells amazing. And this fragrance got great reviews from the users. See, you just keep stirring it and the soap absorbs it. Almost all of it. And there we go. And all of our fragrance is in. And I'm just going to keep stirring it for a little while. And then I'm going to put the embeds in. And that's when it's going to really cool down. And it is thickening up some as it cools and the fragrance cools it down. But that sodium lactate really helped. See, look how that just really soaked it up. When I got aggressively stirring it, look how that soaked it up. So let's get these embeds in. But we have to move quickly now to get this into the soap and get this into the mold. Let's get this in the mold. So, I'm going to put my mold here where you can see it. And let's mold this beautiful purple soap with embeds. And I'll have to smack it down, so let's smack it down for once now. Okay, when I did that, it hit me in the face. Thank God I had my glasses on. Protect your eyes. Didn't hurt my face, but I felt the warmth. It would have hurt my eyes. I know from experience. Alright, guess what? That's all I'm going to do on that. And I'm going to put the rest in my log mold. So, put my log mold over here. Get it where you can see it. And put the rest into it. I made a mistake several years ago thinking this is hot process, it's cooked. I don't need to put my glasses on. And I smacked it on the floor like that and it hit me in the eye and it burned like fire. So even now, I'm wearing my glasses and you need to as well. So, this won't fill the mold, but what I'll do is kind of pull that back. I'm going to smack it down with my glasses on. And, alright, I had it handy. Shoot. Losing my mind, people. I had a piece of plastic ready to pull that back. So I'll use my spatula instead. And pull that back. Smack it again. And just kind of pull that back. And guess what? We have some awesome hot process soap. Look at this. And it's really simple. And guess what? I don't have to spray this with alcohol because there's no soda ash. And guess what? No glycerin rivers. So hot process really has some advantages over cold process. You can't get those beautiful swirls in cold process. That is my favorite, cold process, but I love hot process too. Smack that in there, and gosh, I'll see you tomorrow for the cutting of this. I can't wait. So y'all folks, take care. I'll see you tomorrow for the cutting. Bye. Okay, so 3 hours later, the hot process soap is ready to cut. Yes, my wire broke, like weeks ago, and I haven't changed it yet, so haters, get over it. The rest of you, here we go. I'm holding the wire with a piece of a pair of pliers. Anyway, here we go. And guess what? It still works, holding it with pliers. So let's get you back over here. And there's the inside with all the embeds. And this will look a lot different once it fully dries. It's definitely hard enough to cut, but it's not the way the final bar is going to look. But let's go ahead and cut these anyway. So let's get this over here. Yeah. I'm just going to cut one log because they're all going to look the same. Very nice. And then, once I cut everything and they've set for a few days to completely dry, I'll post a picture. But anyway, I'm pretty happy with these. So I'll see you this weekend for another batch of cold process. Thanks for watching.